When my dad was dying, the week before, he said he could see the first dog that he'd had as a little boy, wagging his tail, all excited, out of the corner of his eye. When he told his sister about it and described the dog in perfect detail, she was shocked as she barely remembered the dog herself. I'm in a park. Green grass was everywhere. It was very pretty and very clean. I see a black cat running up to me. It's my amigo, my black cat who passed away 6 months earlier. He runs toward me and leaps into my arms. He feels exactly the same. He was always a solid cat from his years on the streets. I hold him tightly. I am so happy to see him. Joy fills me. I cry a little bit. I hold him, hugging him, kissing him. I am so happy to see him. He is so happy to see me. This happiness is as if I've never felt before. I could feel his love and adoration. I heard dogs barking, and I could understand what they were saying. They were playing and planning to go somewhere to continue their game. I turned the corner, and there was a group of dogs. I became very joyful when I saw that 2 of my deceased dogs were part of the group. I called out the name of one of my dogs, wanting to hold and pet him. The other dogs took off racing toward the light. My dog turned, looked right at me, and barked. And again I could understand him. In a very scolding tone, he said, "You're not supposed to be here." He took off and joined the other dogs, and soon they were all engulfed in the light. Upon experiencing the tremendous light, which to our normal eyes would seem almost blinding, I first saw our dog, Mr. Miyagi, who passed 6 months earlier. He had died of old age, but upon that meeting he was like a lion in his prime and sitting in a meadow. He radiated love for me and for our time that had been spent together on this earth. We didn't communicate through words. It is just a knowing. I looked up and my grandmother was there. She had died long ago, but it was her. She was wearing a purple dress, and I suddenly remembered seeing her in her coffin as a kid wearing that dress. There was a Boston Terrier dog standing beside her. We had always had Boston Terriers as pets when I was a kid, but I didn't recognize this particular dog. As a side note, I went through a big box of old family photos and I found the dog with my grandmother. Her name was Trixie, and she was our old house pet when I was born in 1956. I don't remember her though, as she was put to sleep around 1958. It was definitely, absolutely Trixie with my grandma. I saw something fidget off to the side and I looked and my dog had died in 2000. Her name was Scooter. She was a black and white border collie. She was there, I saw her, and I thought, I didn't know they were part of the afterlife. It was so good to see her. She couldn't come to me, but I knew that she was there. The place I was in was a hill in Marysville where my grandmother used to pick sunflowers. The grass was so lush and so green. The air was so perfect, moving yet still. Colors had intensity I've never known. I could see and know all these things with my entire being. A dog's tail weaved through the tall grass. A beautiful fuzzy puppy wagged her tail at me. At first, I didn't recognize her. I had never seen our dog as a puppy. I was so happy to see her. We had to put her down 2 weeks prior to my daughter's birth. She had injured her hip. We had given her all the surgery we could to keep her, but it didn't make her quality of life better. It had become much worse. We had put her down on my due date. Our hearts were so heavy with the loss of the dog that had generously shared her life with us for 12 years. I left my body during this experience, and I found myself with my dog Tramp, who had just passed away a month before. I wouldn't be here now if it hadn't been for Tramp. That dog is the closest thing to me in the whole world. Tramp had saved my life before, and here he was doing it again, even after he was dead. You will have to call me for the rest, as I cry too hard when I think about it. Just believe me when I say that it was my dog Tramp who saved my life, not the paramedics that came to the house. Horses and dogs were playing together, and when they stopped, they seemed to stare a hole through me, and then went back to playing. I was told they were checking to see if I was the person they were waiting for, that they had loved while on Earth. I found myself in front of some giant golden gates of some kind. It reminded me of an altar in a Catholic church. There was some kind of fog or something that obscured any sense of distance, but my pet dog Skippy was there. Skippy had died some years earlier and was the only person that I had any real family connection with that was dead. I was overwhelmed with joy and love and embraced my dog with my spirit. Although I don't remember Skippy saying anything to me, we were so happy to be together again. There were figures of people rushing out of it toward me, but I couldn't tell who they were due to the extreme brightness of the light coming from that object. I then became distracted by figures to the right, which were all my former pets. Dogs and cats that had died, climbing over each other to get to me. They gave me the impression of me just getting home from a long trip, as they seemed very excited to see me. Around the stream were animals drinking water. I remember a deer and a squirrel on the other side of the stream and a rabbit on my side. I sat down by the rabbit and gently put it on my lap, petting it. I was not concerned about where I was and didn't feel the need to question it. I was enjoying the beauty that surrounded me and the animals that came to me without fear of me or each other. I was completely at peace with an inner joy that I could feel inside my soul. The scene was endless, like the valley and mountains went on forever.